Overwatch was killed by horrible and late balancing and terrible release after terrible release. It's weird, like Overwatch killed, like Overwatch game's not dead, but like the downfall of Overwatch was, I think, due to inability to understand why certain comps were overpowered and how to fix them, right? Like fundamentally, the biggest problem with Overwatch, the biggest downfall of Overwatch was simply that dive was meta in the game for so long. They couldn't they didn't know how to nerf dive to the point where it wasn't picked every game, so they just effectively invented a character that completely and utterly destroyed dive instantaneously. That was like the beginning of the end, because they just created a monster because they didn't know how to balance it. And it's the same principle with Overwatch 2, right? Like why do we only have one tank was primarily because they didn't know how to fix double shield, and in order, like, it's an easy way to fix it is to just remove a tank, because you can't play double shield if you can only have one shield. No, I agree. I think if they had bans, pretty early on in the game, I think it would have been better. But like, I think the best thing with bans is simply just it allows you to solve. It allows the problems. The problems stick out so fast. Like, you know, Brig is a problem if she has a 95% ban rate, right? So then you're like, okay, look, maybe do something about this fucking character. Well, WSU when we fixed it, just reworked Orisa before the 2 came out. I mean, the Orisa rework was awful though. I think it completely just decimated her character. Like, Orisa went from a character whose design was to like hold space, like to just hold one spot, and like hold that one spot, and then she turned into this monster where she could like push into people. It was a completely like her design was just polar opposite, right? Her ult was boring. I mean, ult was just overtuned as fuck. But yeah, like, I think old Orisa was a problem. Like, I think her design was just not good. But I think new Orisa's significantly worse design than old Orisa. Like, new Orisa's just so fucking cancer. They give her shield back anyway. Wait, what? Orisa has a shield? No, she doesn't. They removed the shield, no? Wait, really? Nah, there's no fucking way. Javelin spin is replaced by a barrier. Nah, there's actually no way. There's no fucking way that's real. There's actually just no shot that's real. That is insane. The shield is trash, no impact. I mean, I don't care. Like, it makes, like, that's so, like, I can't. I actually can't, bro. That's so funny, actually. Play Perk Watch for a day. And the thing is, I actually think perks are really good design. I think really good conceptually. I wouldn't have implemented the way they implemented them, but I think the concept of perks is really cool. It's just, it's like too little. Like, the thing is, people talk about like Overwatch, like, and I think people say the state of Overwatch right now is really good, and it's like I probably don't disagree with that. It's just like, I feel like when you have a game and you have that 2-year period before Overwatch 2 comes out, that was just, we had nothing for 2 years. Literally nothing, no content for 2 years. And like, we maybe had 3 balance patches in 2 years. So I just don't know how I could ever stick with a game that does that to their players. And then when they released Overwatch 2, like, yes, Overwatch 2 was better than Overwatch 1 at the end, I agree, but it was still pretty dog shit. So it's like, yeah, like maybe now, like a year later, Overwatch 2 is like better, but to me, like, I just feel like it's too late. And also, I also just feel like Overwatch 2 does genuinely feel like a sequel. Like, Overwatch 2 doesn't even feel like the same game as Overwatch 1 anymore. As like what Overwatch 1 was. It feels like it feels very much so like like an arcade hero shooter, rather than like a more strategic MOBA like hero shooter. 6v6 is fun, but the mode isn't popular enough and never be comp. Well, I mean, the game's not. I mean, the problem with 6v6 now is the same problem that 5v5 has. The problem is that the tanks in the game are made for 6v6. They're made for 2v2. Like 2 tanks. They were all designed around that, right? So fundamentally, they don't really work in 5v5. Fuck, I missed so hard. Should win. I choked that so hard. But then you also have the same problem of like, now you have the... Okay, GG. Then you have now that like most of the tanks have been reworked and designed around 5v5, so 6v6 is also scuffed. It's just like this, it's like this, nice, it's a disaster. Connery said he likes 5v5 when O2 reached peak height. It's just not true though. There's no universe that 5v5 hit anything close to the peak that 6v6 did. It's just not true. I don't see any, there's no way. I don't think you understand how big Overwatch was back in the day. Like, to put it this way, there's only ever been one time in history that Overwatch, that League of Legends was above, no, don't ban Blade. Ah, fuck, it's just... There's only one time in history that the League of Legends was dethroned in PC Bang, and that was Overwatch. No, no other game I don't think ever has ever overtaken. If it was free. Well, no, but Overwatch 1 wasn't free, and it was. Like, Overwatch was. I mean, it doesn't matter in PC Bangs because you don't pay for the game. That's how it works, right? You get like it's a license-based system, but PC Bang, Overwatch peaked above League of Legends in Korea is legitimately unheard of. Whereas now I think it's like 6th or something in PC Bangs. I don't know. I can't even find where it is. Like, most popular games in Korean PC Bangs. It's entered 5th again. So it's like League, Valorant, FC Online, PUBG, then Overwatch is 5th. Peak has to last. I mean, it did. It lasted like a year and a half. Well, maybe not at that level, but like Overwatch 1, for the first, I would say 2 years of its game length, or at least a year and a half, was unbelievably popular. No, Rivals' peak was not even close to Overwatch's peak, though. No, but it was not even close to Overwatch's peak, Rivals' peak. The problem you have is that the issue you have with this whole argument is just we don't know the numbers of how big Overwatch was or how big Overwatch is now because they just don't give you the numbers. Like, Blizzard don't give you the numbers, and the numbers you get, the numbers that Battle.net give you are like always like turbo scuffed. Ah, this game's GG, bro. I mean, look at our comp. It's just GG. Because like when you look at like a Steam game, right? Like it's easy to look at a Steam game and look at the numbers because, I mean, like, oh fuck, it's all based on the same system, right?
I could use this.
And like I don't even fight the magic in melee. I just sit range, kinda, and just shoot her. Don't see what's good about it. I mean, Overwatch 2 is fine. It's just like, I don't think Overwatch 2 is a bad game. It's just not, like, Overwatch 2 is just, it's just not Overwatch 1. Like, I think what made Overwatch so good in the first place, Overwatch 1, so good in the first place, that just doesn't exist in Overwatch 2 anymore. I think in my opinion, the only argument for 5v5 over 6v6 is just simply that the queue times are shorter. That's the only argument. But that could have been solved by just making tank more enjoyable to play. Tank is doomed to boring. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's never going to be as popular as DPS. Isn't it? It's just by the nature, right? But I don't think it's like doomed to be boring per se. I think it also didn't help that like loads of the actual meta tanks were also boring, right? Roll Q existed in Overwatch 1. I mean, Roll Q existed in Overwatch 1 for a long time. But Roll Q... Again, I don't think Roll Q was ever, like, something that was... Like, Roll Q was an addition to the game that was made due to the devs being slightly incompetent, right? I think, ideally, you will want, like it is in Rivals, where you have uncapped, like, hero... Like, there's no... Not here uncapped hero limit, but there's no, what you call it? Like Roll Q is like not necessary, right? Because I think it does create, you do lose diversity in theory when you have Roll Q. I just think Roll Q makes the average ranked experience significantly more bearable because you don't have the problems that you have in this game where like we have one support and 5 DPS, and the other one support player on our team is a DPS player. Wouldn't play tank and double shield. Yeah, I mean, like generally the history of Overwatch is like the devs create a problem and they don't know how to solve it, so they solve it in a way that solves the problem but creates a bigger problem. Then they don't know how to fix the bigger problem, so they end up creating an even bigger problem. That's to me is like the general like essence of Overwatch in a nutshell. Like they didn't know how to fix dive, so they like, yeah, it's like throwing the baby out of the bathwater. It's exactly what it's like. It's like they didn't know how to fix dive, so they added Brig to the game, right? Then they didn't know how to fix Brig and like how to fix goats, so they added Roll Q to the game. And then they didn't know how to make tanks like not enjoyable, they didn't know how to make tanks like how to make double shield like a playable like like how to fix double shield. They didn't know how to make tank a more enjoyable role to play. So they nerfed. So they just removed the tank from the game. So in theory, all the problems got fixed, but they got fixed in a way that was... Like, you don't have to deal with goats anymore, you don't have to deal with double shield. But ideally, you fix them in ways that don't cripple what's fun about the game in the first place. Tanks are unkillable in Overwatch 2. Well, the problem you have is, like... The problem you have with tanks in Overwatch 2 is that because you only have one, you don't have a tank support with you, you inevitably always have to make tanks overtuned, right? I think what I gather is that tanks like in the history of Overwatch 2, have always been ridiculously overtuned. They do everything that every role can do, pretty much, besides like heal your teammates, right? But it sounds like a damaged game by removing options. Yeah, I mean, it's like if they... I genuinely think if they simply didn't add Brig to the game, right? And they found another way of nerfing dive, I think the game would be 100 times better. I think that the downfall of the game started with that one character being added to the game. I don't think it was the single biggest problem with the game was like her addition, but I think it was like the catalyst that started the downfall of the game, if that makes sense. Oh fuck me, I'm so cooked. Like I think before, I think the only thing that was bad about the game, like was really like the major problem before Brig was added was no hero limit, right? Like when you could play like 6 divas and shit, like that was so toxic. That was the most toxic shit I've ever seen, but that was nerfed that was gone pretty fast. Like that didn't last more than a few months, I don't think. And it was also not used by anyone outside the higher level. I think Moth Meta was the start. I think Moth Meta was only really like... I don't know. I don't think Moth Meta was as bad as... I think the main problem I had with Moth Meta is that it enabled Widow to just dominate the game, right? But I think it was only really a massive problem in the really high elos, the Widow stuff. Like, Mercy was OP as fuck, but I don't think she didn't like fundamentally change the game, right? Like, I think she didn't effectively force bad systems into the game, right? I think is the big difference. Fuck, man. Just got help anytime. And this bitch needs to die for this, but I'm the one who dies. He's insane. Hero Bands would have saved it. I mean, Hero Bands would have solved so many problems in the game. Like, if they had Hero Bands on start. Hero Bands was never really even suggested as a thing, really. I think that's the one thing that I think that Rivals for sure like revolutionized was the concept of hero bands existing in a hero shooter, and like the way to do them was by far the biggest impact this game's had on Overwatch is that, because they basically added it to Overwatch because it was so successful in Rivals. It was never going to get added otherwise.
Your powers are mine.
That's sad actually. Like, it's pathetic how close that 1v1 is to the degree to which I outplayed him. Like, that is insane how... Like, I outplayed him so fucking hard, it's insane. And yet, like, I barely won. I don't trust my teammates on point, so I'm going for it. Oh, 500's the thing. One-way combats in here is, yeah, but that's not the same, right? Like, hero rotations doesn't make sense. Because it's arbitrary and it creates like it just like hard forces metas for no reason, right? Oh yeah, that's 2 months. Yeah. I mean, I remember patches. I remember there's the patch where Widow, Ashe, what was it like? I think it was Widow, Tracer, Sombra, and McCree were banned. I remember that. It was those 4 heroes were banned. And the saddest thing is Ashe, who was not even like considered good at the time, was just became picked in every game. Like it showed how broken hitscan is. That when you remove like 4 of the best hitscan heroes in the game, you don't get a meta of other things. You just get another fucking hitscan character. Is there here not rank 1? Nope. If it's a black melee character, I'm rank 1. Rank 1 A-Train. If they add A-Train to this game, then yes. Venom count? No. Because the guy who he takes over, I don't think he's black, right? Spider-Man Miles Morales skin, that would count.
My team is AFK. My team is so scared. My team is AFK. My team is so scared. My team is AFK. My team is so scared. My team is AFK. It's just bullshit. Hey, friends. We're all friends here. Hey, friends.